So let's do some fried green tomatoes. Now, this really wasn't on the plan today, but our tomato plants are in pots in the yard. The huge thunderstorm came through, knocked the pot over, tomatoes came off, and when life gives you green tomatoes, you fry them. So what I did here, we're going to slice the tomatoes about half-inch slices. These happen to be San Marzanos, which you normally wouldn't do for this, but that's the plant that got knocked over, and that's the tomatoes that ended up falling off the plant. So we cut the ends off, we get some slices. You see I've sliced them up already. Take that, and what we're going to do is throw them in a little bit of flour. All right, just plain ordinary flour. It's not seasoned or anything like that. I'm going to slip this glove on here. Because all the seasoning in this is actually going to be in the wet ingredient, in the eggs. So let's toss this around here. We're just going to get a little bit of flour on each of these to start them off. Let's go flour, and then I'm going to take off whatever sticks is great, but I don't want to have too much flour on it. And I'm just going to knock the rest off. So just do that, knock them off. All right. So here's the egg. I've got 1 egg plus 1 egg white. Why do I have 1 egg white? Well, because I made mayonnaise with 1 yolk, and we'll talk about what I'm doing with that later. Don't want to waste the other one, so I just put the white. So I just put the white in there, and it's a little bit eggy. I don't want it to be quite that thick, so I'm put a little bit of milk in it just to kind of thin it out. Yep, that looks really good. So I thinned that out just a little bit, and now here's where I add the seasoning. So I've got 2 tablespoons here of basically a Cajun seasoning. I'm going to dump that in, and so now the egg, you can see the egg's got this really nice Cajun seasoning all in it. Now I'm going to check to see if I need to add salt. Well, actually, because you just don't know. This Cajun seasoning actually has quite a bit of salt in it, so I'm not going to worry about it. But you just don't know. I mean, you go to your store, you buy Cajun seasoning. If it has enough salt, you're good to go. Okay, so now we take these lightly floured ingredients here, and we're going to put them into this egg mixture, and we're going to get them really nicely coated with all of that stuff. This is where all the seasoning is for this dish. Now, what I've got here is a mixture of a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of cornmeal. That's the kind of ratio I'm going for here. So I'm going to take these that are nicely in the egg, and I'm going to throw them into this flour and cornmeal mix. I'm going to toss that around, get those nicely coated. All right. And then I'm going to do a similar thing to what I did before, and I'm going to try and knock off the excess. All right, like that. Let's stick them in here and we'll knock the excess off. But to really make sure I knock the excess off, but let's do it again. Let's put them back in the egg and milk and seasoning mix. Get them really coated up again with this. And then back again into the flour and cornmeal. We'll put this off to the side. That double coating, that really makes it really nice. You get nice and crisp, and it's going to taste delicious because it's got all this. So I got to make sure I get this cornmeal all over it. Okay, that takes a little patience. Do that. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to sort of knock the excess off. So put that in here. I'm going to put these back in here again. I'm also going to throw the rest of this stuff on top of them and toss them around like that, but knock the excess off. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to fry them. All right, so what I've got here is peanut oil. It's 250 degrees. I'm going to stick the tomatoes in there. Now I'm shallow frying. I mean, you could, if you wanted, you could deep fry these. That would be okay. There's no reason not to, but I prefer the shallow frying method. Let's stick that in there, and you can see them sizzling away with that nice coating on them. So I can't just eat these plain the way they are. I'm going to need to have some kind of a dipping sauce. So I'm going to make a remoulade. That's where my yolk went. The yolk went into making the mayo. So this is a homemade. Store-bought is fine. I showed how to make mayo in the halibut episode, so I just made it up here and didn't make it for you again. I'm going to take, the key to remoulade is pickle. So I got 2 tablespoons of diced pickle in this half cup of mayo. The pickle is, these particular ones are spicy pickles from a local farm stand. They're made locally. They're really good. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of caper. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of Creole mustard. What the heck, you know, we'll keep on that Cajun Creole theme. And then I'm going to put in, this is a teaspoon of finely chopped tarragon. So I got the pickle, I got all this stuff in here. What I want to do before I declare this done is, because the capers are salty, that pickle is salty, so I want to taste it. And let's see. And do I want to add salt? No, I don't want to add any salt. It's fine. Put the salt to the side. So it's going to take a little time for the tomatoes to cook. I got to get them brown on both sides. So I'm going to finish that and then we'll be back. Okay, we're back and here they are, looking really nice. This takes a good 10 minutes to cook these. You want to make sure the tomato gets cooked all the way through and you get this nice crispy crust on it. Again, it won't be oily as long as you keep the temperature up, 250 to 275. Don't let it drop down too low or the oil will start to soak in. So let me give one of these a try. They're a little hot. I did let them cool a little bit. You'd have to let them cool a little. Wow. Wow, that's hot. But boy, that is so crunchy. And the tomato is nice and soft and cooked inside. The remoulade is just beautiful. It's got these nice bright flavors. The pickle, the capers. This is really good. So I think you'll enjoy it. And so I hope you'll give it a try. And we will see you next time when I will actually do something what I planned to do, not something that kind of fell out of the sky. Thanks a lot.